These are people who, well, as gossiper means, they tend to want to talk behind my back, and it's usually not in a good context. Um, as the line says, the borderline type 3, which is the killers, with the exception of killing me, they try to socially kill me, socially crucify me by telling people maybe not to like me, or they just, whatever rumors going around, to I guess, put ill in my favor in the community. Um, if I encounter them and I ask them some questions, they may end up lying and about what it's or excuses, and then it gets to be a mess trying to, so it's like, once you lie, you got to always propagate or remember every lie. It's kind of hard to lie, be a perpetual liar, because it's hard to remember. It's actually easier it's easier telling the truth versus so it ends up creating quite a mess if I encounter these people and enter into conversation with them. As of March 27th, 2011, I really don't have much interaction with these people. I tend to keep, back in 2004, I was sort of, how do I say this, maybe entertainer, I don't know, I enjoyed freaking people out, and so I would stir it up and see what they would say and stuff. So this is more of something that was occurring back then. But yeah, everything that's on my website. I mean, these people, they think I'm evil. I think because like my brother Aaron thinks that I think he thinks I'm the devil or something. Just completely evil for thinking the things that I do, and he's not. I'm sure he's not the only one. Got these terms that I use: spiritual sex. Look up that. That's they might think that I'm like raping somebody in La La Land or something, but I'm actually just getting off to them. It's just they kind of feel it. It's they take these connotations, they put an evil connotation to everything that I say. And like my morph, when the demons, they'll say, when I had all these spirits enter me, they'll think that I was possessed by demonic spirits, right? Or the last thing they wanted to find out was that, what was it, in 2000, a year later or something, I could contain hell, which is the evil spirit. So that's probably the last thing they need to hear was that. Oh goodness, are we all glad that Roller can now contain all the demon spells? That's good news for us. We're all going to hell. Or in my morph, when I'm, battling all these people, they might think that I'm just, that's just breeding me to be a killer, right? When it's just spiritual training. It's just training for my spiritual warrior character class, right? It's nothing more like a video game. But they'll take it to be, he's just training up so that he'll just bust out the chainsaw one day and just start taking out everybody like in Doom or something. So they think that I'm dangerous, a rapist, or mentally ill with a violent tendency, and they spread these rumors. Again, well, I don't have much interaction with these people anymore. If they're doing this, I definitely wouldn't doubt my brother is doing this. But if they are talking, they're not talking to me much anymore. So I don't have much interaction with these boneheads. But a while back, I sure was encountering them. look at the Bob Holly email interaction. I'll talk about that. But I had he told me to go in town and start handing out dollar bills, and let me tell you what, that was an amazing thing, that how that went around town so quick. Uh, as though I am just the most complete nut job on the planet for doing something like that. And the oxymoron in it is that I think that they're the idiots for thinking that I'm the idiot. And and that's the problem, is that they think that there's got to be something wrong with me for anything that I do. I mean, there's just he's this must be the preemptiveness when he starts just going postal and just starts blowing everybody away. I mean, he hands out dollars. Next thing you know, that just leads. That's what the next step is, to break out the chainsaw and just start taking out everybody, right? You got to check out the joke, the practical joke there. I got to open up that link because that's so important to my show, because it provided a lot of the fun. I cannot believe how much fun I had with the fact that people, they just either didn't believe anything I said. What happened with that, in short, just look at that link, it's more detailed, but basically, they didn't believe me, so I started pretending that I had a split personality, and I had a bunch of email that I was sending off, and I said it was, I said, well, hey, it was just me. I was just typing it to myself. I didn't realize this, and that sparked off a whole, what I call split personality disorder, SPD emails, and you got to check out that. And this is what that was the absolute funnest part of 2003 was creating these emails and sending them off, and people would just, who knows what was going on in the town at that point with all these emails flying that were just split personality. It was basically I had anywhere from two to 10 split personalities in email format. And I'm talking to myself, and that was a blast, I have to say. But these were the people that fed off that stuff. These type sixes would feed off it. These gossipers, they feed off that and spread it around. And it's like, oh my God, man, it's just a matter of days before he just busts out the Uzi and just starts going to town, And they would do this despite the notion that you might also be watched too, and it might also be maybe criminal for all I know. And I was such it was just so, it seemed so awful what they were doing. And most of these people are probably the Bible thumpers, and they can't imagine an ordinary guy like me could become something so huge, especially when you've got mental illness. You got mental illness, so automatically people assume you must be seeing things wrong or something. You're not all there. You must be imagining things, Chris. And it's kind of like the movie A Beautiful Mind, where they think that I'm just imagining all this at the same, but it turns out that it's their imaginary world in which they're making up stuff. And I would just play along with it because it just seemed so funny, because I was a practical joker. A lot of that fun ended, but it was just so fun pretending that I had a split personality. That was a blast. I've got geo references on here. That's that I was off. I was thinking everybody was gonna get arrested for their stupid behavior, but I doubt it. You gotta ignore these geo references on this site. What would add to the chaos is my daughter Nicole was she is like quite the entertainer. And she was just at bowling one time. She'd be like just bouncing up and down on me, like dry humping me, or it was just, and anybody looking at this would think, oh my God, Chris is molesting this poor girl, and that's where she's picking this up from, right? And it was just amazing the things that Nicole would do that would just add to the show. It's just unbelievable. Um, it's just, I don't know where she picks this stuff up, why she does this stuff, but it was just so funny. Funny to me, and it's horrific to some others. Oh my God, look at what she's doing. Then there was this girl, Jelena, on a more serious note. She kept coming over. She's friends with my kids. And I got to know her pretty well. One time, there's an email. Look at the email link there, but I'm not sure if I'll post anything. But basically, I noticed she had wet herself. She's jumping on the trampoline. I know she wet herself. She peed herself. And I was wondering if she was like being molested. It turns out the conclusion of this is that yes, her brother was. I found out as I was leaving Smallville, I got a call from the police saying that the brother was doing this. I had sent some. The sad reality to my condition is that I was sending this off to a doctor. One of these fake emails, these SPD emails. I sent off to a doctor, trying to get some attention for this little girl, and as a result, because nobody gives me any credibility or that what I'm doing, it's just that well, look at the email. You'll see it. It was sent, and it was literally sent to a doctor. And who else? Maybe let's see here. Anyways, nobody gives me any credibility, so it doesn't matter what I say. I'm imagining things or I'm wrong. It turns out I was right. So that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. There, the reality of being mentally ill is that I can cry that I was poisoned or something, and they won't listen to me. And in fact, they'll just throw me into a cage, thinking that I'm off the deep end again. And that's in another link. I call them morons. Talk about psychiatrists in there. I just read the portion here that talks about there was a sting in which there was some hidden cameras put in the house because they were concerned that I was doing Nicole, my daughter. And that's made up in my mind. So some of this stuff's shocking to me that I wrote this, but wow. Wow. I have to say I am pretty accurate when I enter the courtroom, so we will take this with a grain of salt. I did not physically see any cameras, couldn't find them, but I find that I'm pretty accurate about things. That there was the cameras. See, Jesus, hang on. Yeah, what was going on is Nicole was wetting herself at night, and so I think, oh God Almighty, I think there may have been a sting set up. Oh God, I better remember this stuff. But she was wetting herself two or three times in the middle of the night, and we were trying to wonder what's going on. I think with all the rumors going on around her that there was some question about what I was doing. It turns out I kind of figured that out a few years later in the city, when I was in Burnsville. One second. I don't know if I should talk about this. Hang on. Well, this is not real, but I believe using magic some demons of mine, some real people, were using magic to pluck Nicole from her and molesting her. I believe Nicole is a victim of molestation, and I've actually got this on video when I was talking to the police. If you look at my other links with the police in Burnsville, I was trying to get the police to, you know, find out, commence a little investigation to find out. And I pretty much, I got a feeling of the actual guys that did this. But you know, I just didn't, I think I can stop it. I think, pretty sure I put a stop to that a few years ago, but, you know, if you don't know this is happening, then you can't put any countermeasures against this kind of magic. So I'm pretty sure that Nicole was a victim of this, and this is the time period where she was being essentially plucked and molested. It was when she was wetting herself here. But I believe there may have been a sting to find out if I was the culprit. Yeah, I'd be playing. Scott Hammerschmidt and Kenny Hammerschmidt were type 6s, and it's, you know, they spread rumors, and I couldn't help it. I had a joking personality. I couldn't help but mess with them as well, and sort of it is amazing what it was like, so in tune with my show, the stuff that I could say, and they would just believe it. They would just believe any inclination of hints of being a bad person, and they would just, oh yeah, oh, you know, it's like, oh, you know, instead of fainting, they would just caution. They would just calm. They would calm themselves as though we'll get through this, you know, or it's okay, Chris, but you know, we'll fix you up. We'll get you fixed. Any jokes that I can make, it's just, and some of the stuff, I don't know if yeah, it's questionable whether I should be joking around about some of this stuff, especially when I was right about the Jolena thing. I was making a joke here about it, and I didn't find out till I left Smallville that she had been molested by her brother. So some of this is in maybe bad taste to be joking around about this stuff, but you know, I did my best to inform a doctor about this stuff. I had some neighbors, the Hicks, and I signed a waiver of consent so that if I got hurt, they wouldn't be liable. So that gave us the okay to use it. But one of their kids made reference to, it's like something to the effect of one second. Yeah, I guess despite that, I guess there was some rule changes that we couldn't use it unless the parents were around, despite the waiver of liability. I wasn't sure the kid was right, so I was hoping the parents would say something, and they didn't, and I just got, it's you know, it's sort of the type 6's behavior in which they let little kids do the dirty work. If they don't want me on the trampoline, all they have to do is say so, but they're just kind of pussies or something, and they don't feel like it. So so I got the hint, and I just bought a trampoline, set it up at Kathy's. We're using it out there for quite a while. And then I'd be telling everybody in town that I'm jumping on the trampoline, and the word would get around that I'm jumping on the trampoline at the neighbors, and then nobody's seeing it, so they're wondering, well, Chris must be like off the wall again, because he's, and I'm purposely saying this to And as I remember, I'm just recalling how funny that was. I absolutely, for some reason, this is vivid. That this was playing off to be quite the thing, because I'd be telling everybody that I'm jumping on a trampoline, and there'd be like a coup set up to see who's jumping on a trampoline. I mean, not just neighbors, but the public, maybe even the police or something. And it would just, and when and they'd be like, well, he's not jumping. He's not jumping on a trampoline. So what the hell is he talking about? He must be off his rocker. And I'm just doing it to mess with everybody's minds. And I remember I remember laughing my butt off at my folks' place about this topic, because I could not believe the man, the moment, boy, I wish I could remember the moment, because I knew I was laughing my butt off at just how freaked out people were getting. That I would say that I'm jumping on a trampoline, and they know damn well I'm not, at least on the one next door. I remember that was the funniest thing. One of the biggest laughs ever was as a result of that little prank.